Hey guys, welcome back. So, as you may have noticed, I'm doing some car maintenance, and there's a lot of things that are long overdue. One of them is my shifter here has a cracked bushing inside. You can see how it flops around. Now, when I got this car, it never did this. This shifter was dead solid and felt awesome. I dropped it off to have the tires replaced, and when I went to pick it up, it was like this. Now, I'm assuming that the person who went to move my car tried to put it in reverse or something and was having trouble and forced it. But this was never this way. So I'm excited to get this fixed. I have a whole kit that I bought online. We'll go over that in a little bit. And another thing is that the stupid door on the cup holder flops open. Now, this one is nice and solid. That's how this one should be, but this got broken. So there's a little spring inside, does not work. And since I'm going to be taking all of this off to get down inside the shifter, I will be able to fix this at the same time. So I will go over both. I may split them into separate videos, I'm not sure. But right now, being the beginning of the video, we don't know where this is going to go because I'm winging it. And once all this is done, I will also be doing the gearbox fluid change as well. So new lube in the gearbox, and we'll go from there. Eventually I'll be changing out the top. So that probably won't be for a month or two, but we'll get this one started right now and go over how to do it. So to get started, we have to remove some screws. There are two under here. See if I can get this cap off of this thing. There we go. One on this side. Phillips heads. So get these things taken out. We've got a little cap over them that is attached to the screw, which looks like this. Now this is a 2001 Miata. I'm not sure if the earlier models are the same or not. I think the console here is very similar, at least. So I don't know if it's exactly the same, but I think the attachment points are the same. So we have those two. Now there are two more inside this box. I'll move the camera in a second so you can see the little trick here, because you have to lift this center console around the gas and trunk latches, which is super exciting. There we go. So I'm gonna pop this out because there may be another screw under here. And there is. All right, so we got this. Probably actually I'm gonna disconnect this guy here. There we go. Got our window switch out. And the last screw. This should free it up. It looks like this. Put this in the cup holder and it should just lift off now. There we go. Got the wiring harness down here. I'm going to pay attention to how this goes through. There's like a little connector down inside here that is holding this together. You can take that out real easy. There we go. So that goes there. Inside here, let me see how gross this is. Nasty. There's a slot in the back here. That's where your gas tank and trunk levers are. So you just want to make sure they slide out. This has to stay out here. There's some insulation. 1, 2. Shift boot totally worn through as expected. See that? It's all old and nasty. And I'm assuming this small one is. Yep, both of them are completely eaten through. So we've got the replacements for those, and we will get those on there in a moment. And I'm going to take this and we're going to look at how to. Sorry, that was off camera. I'm going to look at how to fix the spring on this, and I'll get that updated too. Here we go. So now we are all opened up here. These are 10mm bolts. All right, so I've got my 10mm wrench here with a little extension on it. Go ahead and get these guys out. I'm going to get them started and then take them out by hand so I don't drop them down here someplace. And once I get this off, we'll be able to see down through the bottom of the car. So I Definitely don't want to drop any screws down there. Put these in the seat because that's always the best place for them, in the seat. And once we get this back together, once I get this part back together, then I'm going to go clean out that console and get that spring fixed, because that cup holder has made me crazy for years, and I'm too lazy to get in here and do a little repair. It doesn't drive me quite crazy enough. It only drives me crazy when I'm in the car, and as soon as I get out of the car, I forget about it. Which is pretty typical. Alright, so this should come off. It's pretty stuck down. There it goes. Boy, it's on there. So you can see the old one is in really, really great shape. And we'll have to get all this stuff off, but it's bad news. My goodness, these are not, oh, here we go. Never mind that. Almost went for the wrong thing. I was like, wait a minute, these aren't 10 millimeter. I was gonna open up the whole top, which I don't need to do. Another small bolt. You know what? I am going to get something to put all of this crap in so I don't get my seats too dirty. I'm back with a blueberry container to hold all my nuts and bolts. These ones with the big washers are for the outer piece here, and then the small little guys here are for the actual cover for the shift lever. One more. The one left. Now, mind you, remember, before, when we get to the end, remember this, how loose this is and terrible. And that should be all taken care of when we're done. That'll be so nice. I miss having my nice, precise shifting. This car's shifting is very, very, very good when it's working right. And when it's like this, it makes me sad. All right, last one. This thing loose here. There we go. Yep, the bushing is totally gone, just like I expected. So, jeez, man. Yep, so this little ball that is down at the end of this should have a bushing on it, which is just broken down inside here. So I'm gonna have to clean this out. All right, so I figure I should probably fish this, the little pieces out of here, so I can show you what they look like before I get to the next part. Set this down here on the floor, and I'll show you the replacement parts. I've got a replacement seal here, which I guess is supposed to replace this guy, which is pretty worn and gross. This one probably still be sufficient. I think it's more to keep noise out, but there's a new one. The new internal seal. The new external seal, the big guy that goes on the top here. All the parts. Now this little guy here, this little bushing, is what it's supposed to be on the bottom of this. It's one of these right here. So this piece, there's an old busted one down in here that I'm gonna have to fish out in a moment. And then there's the top and bottom bushings that go on the ball here. There's just the old one here, and there's a little spring that goes on top to keep everything in place. So we'll get those. What's kind of cool is that I got these parts off of eBay, and when they came in, they came from Mike's Place, which is a YouTube channel that I subscribe to. I had no idea. I just randomly bought them off eBay. When it came in, I recognized the king of Miatas, the little crown and the mustache. I'll put a link to his YouTube channel down below. He's really, really knowledgeable on Miatas. I learned a lot from his YouTube page. So thank you, Mike. This is great. The kit is looking like it's gonna work nicely. So, but I'll let you know in a minute. But I'm sure it's fine. So all right, let's try to fish this this old bushing out of here. If I can even find it. There's this nasty black lube down in here. And there should be some pieces of plastic floating around in here someplace, but I can't find them. I wonder if they went down in the sides or something. Boy, gross. But yeah, the oil in here is really, really nasty. Might actually have to siphon some of it out just to see if I can see the part that I'm missing. All right, I got this syringe from Skycraft in Florida years ago. Had it a long time. Oh yeah, look at that. I see a little piece of that plastic is already in here. Now apparently there's a way to drain this from the bottom. But ooh, look how gross that is. That's some nasty stuff. I might actually have to get a shorter hose. Yeah, the plastic pieces are all in here. I know I'm pumping this air back down in there. I'm just trying to get enough of a draw to get this stuff out. There it goes. Gotta really push it down there. This is lacking in fluids. Oof, it's gross. I'm gonna get a little container to put this in. There are lots of little broken plastic pieces down in there. Now, I've watched some videos of other guys doing this, and a lot of them will use turkey basters. And, apparently it's pump kits. And like I said, I think there's a fill plug down at the bottom, not a fill plug, a drain plug that, hang on, let me see if I can get this going here. And that drain plug should release this fluid. It is down there. There's not very much in here right now. I feel like this is emptier than it should be. We get a little bit, but I don't think it helps that this tube is like 1.5 feet long. Alright. You get the drift. I'm going to go in here and dig out these little pieces, and then we'll get to some of the other parts in a moment. Just so you can see, these are the fragments of what's left of the old bushing. There's a whole bunch of them down in there. I have to go try to dig these all out before I put the new stuff back together, so this might take a few minutes longer than I expected. Alright guys, so on this the shifter here, I have cut off the outer seal that was stuck on there. Throw those over there. And the inner seal, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to cut what's left of the boot, which isn't much. This will probably just tear off. It's pretty brittle. Now, again, my car is a 2001. I've probably said this 5 times, and I have not changed this ever. It doesn't look like it's probably been changed since the car was new. So there's that. Once this rubber seal comes off, this should lift back over. I have to cut a little more. So the little metal flange basically fits perfectly around the shifter. So it turns out if there is any rubber left on here, it does not want to fit back over. Now, if you look online, you will see that you can buy the bushings for this part separately. But I would recommend getting the kit, because almost everyone that I've seen has looked like this, where all the seals are falling apart, and that's no good. You don't want to change the bushing and then not change the seals. You may as well just do it all in one shot, even though it costs about 4 times as much money. But it's worth it. It's not that bad. So now this piece is off. Put that over there. We have our lower bushing and our spring, which should fit over this, but they're giving me a hard time. What's going on? Looks like here's the spring. Now the spring is going to go toward the top. There's a spring, and here's the bushing. And there looks like a little tiny piece of rubber still left up under here. So anyway, I'm going to cut this off. You don't have to watch this. There's just a little piece of rubber down there. I'm going to clear that out, and then we'll wipe this all down, and we'll be on to the next step. Now I have these bushings that are supposed to go, one is supposed to go down in here, and one is supposed to go on the shifter itself. So let's look here. This is the bushing, the lower bushing for this, and this is the shifter bushing. which has a little spring on it that has 3 little tabs. As you can see here, they line up and connect in the bushing itself. So these springs are going to help hold it in place. And these guys are going to go on first. I should put some grease on here. I'll lube this in a moment. Actually, I don't know if I have any grease since I moved. Before I moved to California, I had all these supplies, and every time I go to get supplies, I realize how much stuff I left in Florida. So, gosh, I hope I have grease. I assumed I did. Now that I think about it, I might not. That would be bad. Not horrible, but not great either. Yeah. Am I doing this the right side? Yeah. Now, one thing is that this bushing that's supposed to go in here, I am having a hell of a time getting these pins out. On the earlier versions of the Miata, there was only one pin, so you could just take the shifter out, lift out the bushing, pop it back in. But on my model, there are 2 pins, and they're press fit, so you need to hammer one out. Now, I have tried just about every damn thing, and I cannot get them to move, and I'm kind of worried about getting them out and then not being able to push them back in, and I don't want to damage anything, so I'm going to live with this old bushing for now. I'll look online and see if there's a fix, and now that I have all this stuff replaced, I should just be able to pop this back open and swap it. So tomorrow, if I find an easy way to push these pins out, I'll do that. If not, I will live with the old bushing. It looks like it's in pretty good shape compared to everything else. It is, I believe it is metal. Is it metal? No, it's plastic, but it's very low wear on this one. It looks like it's good. So I'm gonna leave it for now. Not overly concerned. Let's see if I can get a spring over this part here. My Miata has this weird little flare here that I do not remember seeing on some of the other versions. So hopefully, there it goes. Come on. It's almost there. I think. There it goes. Okay, it's over. It's over. So, get our bushing in place. Snap the little spring into its slots on the bushing. God, this must be an exciting angle over here. Wish I had set up another camera. So that sort of goes like this. You can see there's a spring on the top. The bushing's in there. And we have this new guy. This is the thing that was broken on my car before. This is why it was shifting terrible. This thing had completely disintegrated. So that pops on here. I'm going to find a hard surface and pop that down. I'm going to actually add a little bit of lube. Some of the actual oil that I will be using in the gearbox, I'm going to put on here just to help that out. So got a little bit of lube on here now. And see if I can push this on by hand. I might have to tap it into place on the ground here. There we go. Now it's on the end of my shifter. I just pushed it on the ground and I popped it on. A little bit of force and it pops right on there, and it is pretty set. So now, well, I've got this thing kind of lubed up. This looks really disgusting. We need to put this guy over the top. So this has to be lubed, or this, we're going to be forcing this, guys. This is might not be pleasant. See, I got to make sure I get this rubber part over. Little flange. There we go. It's nice and seated, like so. Looks good. And now, before I do anything else, I want to refill the turret here with a little bit of oil. Now it says it takes 90 cc's, and it's the same oil that you use in the gearbox. So let's see what I can get in here. Try to not get this everywhere. So this is about 50. Pump this down in there. Looks way cleaner than before, which is good. My camera's probably gonna stop. Just know I put in 90, all right? And then I'm gonna go delete some stuff off my camera if this runs out. So I have my oil in there. Got a few more minutes on my camera now. So I'm gonna start reassembling the shifter unit here. Take a little bit of this oil and just put it up here. I would prefer to use grease, however I don't have any right now. I have read on the forums that some people don't use grease and some people do, and there's a little debate about it. I personally prefer to use it. I'm assuming it's okay to not use it since so many people say it's not, but I prefer to use grease. I may pop this back open and add some in a few days when I have a chance to go pick up some. So we will set this back down. It should line up pretty easily. Now there is something to note here. I don't know if I can see it right now. The shifter has a little bit of a bend in it that leaned back just a tad, and it's hard to see it right now, but this should be leaning toward me. If I can get this in this slot here. Come on, there it goes. Make sure the bushing is lined up real nice. Turn this rubber seal just a tad. This is probably why these things break, because if they offset just a little bit, they'll get some constant tension on them in one direction. There we go. Looks like it's lined up correctly. However, it looks like my new shifter plate does not quite line up perfectly like my old one did. Let me look at this really quick and see what the deal is. Yeah. I'm assuming it's probably fine. Ooh, it's all gross. My old one was round, like this, and the new one has some weird shape to it, which is interesting. So I don't know if it's a newer model. It does look like all of the holes line up here, so let's see. But there's an angle that looks like it will work better for some reason. Interesting. So let me turn this a little bit. I wonder if this is for a 6-speed or something. Now all the holes meet up, so hopefully it works. It is a little strange looking, but I'm gonna run with it because what else am I gonna do? I might check online, and if it's wrong, I'll pop back in there and replace it with the correct one, which is a bummer because it means I have to cut this one off. So we'll get these 10mm bolts, the lower ones, back in place. This is such an odd fit. Like I said, I hope this is very, very weird. Interesting. Like I said, all the bullet holes are correct, but this one has like a little squared edge on it. My other one was perfectly cylindrical. If you see that, round, and this one's got a weird taper, but it fits. It fits. So, where is my socket? There we go. Now, tonight I won't be finishing the top point. What am I saying? The top portion. I'm going to do that inside and get all that back together, fix my hinges and clean up. By hinges, I mean spring. I don't know what I'm saying. And clean up all the cup holders because they are super nasty. Finish tightening this down, and do you remember before how it would wiggle all over the place? That's it right now. It's barely anything. Let me screw this back on. Oh my god. It feels so much better. Oh. look when it snaps to the middle and just stays right there. Oh, that's great. That is so good. Ah, I've missed you. I've missed you, little shifter. Oh my gosh. Yeah, that is awesome. All right, so now I need to get this the top boot back on, take the shifter ball back off. I got too excited there. So before I do this, I need to put a little bit of lube on the shaft, but I want to wipe off the excess off of this rubber piece. I've had a couple people on the forums say that adding some powder to this can prolong the life a little bit. So if that's true or not, I am not sure. But I may as well give it a shot. I've got powder here. We'll see. So I guess I'm going to powder this, then re-lube the top a little bit, and slap this guy back down over it. All right, baby powder engaged. I don't want to go too heavy with this. I'm only going to try to get on the rubber seal here. Getting all over everything. Now with my luck, this is probably going to like get inside the gearbox and like slowly grind everything down. But I'm sure that's probably more than enough for now. Some gimmicky shit, man. I don't know if this is gonna do anything, but I'm gonna try it. Worst that can happen is I just have to fix it again, which now that I've done it once, I know how to do it. So that ain't too bad. All right, so I'm gonna get some oil here. I'm gonna put a little bit on my fingers, which is freaking gross. Lube up the top here. It looks pervy as hell, but it's all right. And then we will take our boot and shove this back down. Ugh. I don't know if that's, I guess that's as far as it needs to go. Looks good. These bolts back in. I'm wondering how much quieter it's going to be with this all closed back up. I think that's going to, that will help with the noise. I could be wrong, but I probably am not. I am probably not. Jeez, dude, I'm sorry I keep rambling. This is just nervous energy. Being on camera, I feel like I'm forced to talk to you guys. So this is, again, this is 10 millimeter. Ugh, that was a bad angle. I think they need to be super tight. Don't want them to work loose or anything, but that's probably good. It's probably good. All right, one last try here before we put this away. Listen to that little rubber thing. I might not have to push down far enough. Yeah. Keep going here. I think I remember seeing that little. There we go. Now the rubber baffle is not making any noise. You guys, you have no idea how much better this feels. My car, it feels like new. That is amazing. I'm excited to go try this. Neighbors are shooting off fireworks. What the hell is it today? It's September 9th right now, I think. Yeah, September 9th. People are shooting off fireworks still. It's like all the time here. 4th of July is over, people. All right, so this is good. I'm gonna go reassemble the console, get the spring fixed in there, and then get this all put back together. And then we'll be good. And then I'll get underneath and change the gear oil, which is gonna be super freaking exciting. Again, I didn't use the new lower bushing. I'm going to save this, and I may insert it later. Now that all these parts are new, I should just be able to lift this out and swap it without too much of a hassle. Alright guys, I am back. Hopefully you can see this and the light isn't too crazy. I have my console here. This is the padding from the old padding. Now this one was around kind of like this, and I think that this new foamy thing that they gave me probably buffer for that. I'm not sure, but this one was over the top of this part. I think this can still go in here, so I'm gonna leave that. You know what, I might actually try them both and see. I think overall this is going to help with sound and so forth. So a little extra padding in here never hurt anybody, but we'll see if it closes. I'm not even sure if this is going to go down all the way. So got our wires here. We got to make sure these are available, and we have our seat pegs, which you can't see of course, but if you have one of these cars, you know what I'm talking about. There's a trunk release and a gas release, and you want to put those in first. So you're going to guide those through the opening in the back. Of course, I'm going to do this really smooth. And again, I'm not sure this padding is going to work, so this may be a fail video here. There we go. There's like a little rubber seal back here to keep your stuff from falling through. I'm going to make sure that doesn't get torn. Alright. I'm going to pull the guide up for the cable. It's got a little connector that goes down here to make sure that our window connects okay. And shifter's gonna sit. And all that padding seems to work just fine. So I'm gonna leave it all in there and get our window switch, which I probably should have cleaned while I had it out, but I'll just get the gunk off the edges and I think that'll be sufficient. I can clean the top later. So I'm gonna get this stuff off. And let me see here if I can reconnect this without it being too much of a hassle. There we go. So the little loop of wire was sort of catching underneath, so that should be straightened out now. Should be able to reconnect this relatively easily. So these screws that go in here in your what do you call this compartment? I don't know. Center console compartment. The screws that go in here and the one that goes down in underneath the window switch, they are the same screws. These are probably the same screws too. Nope, they're not. Okay, so the screws that go here, the little caps, are a little bit different. Foamy thing in here. Make sure the foam is pushed up nice and high in here so it does what it's supposed to do. There we go. Basically what I did is I just moved the foam up to the top so that it would sit a little bit better. Come on. Alright, so my shifter is sort of back in action now. I got one screw under here. I don't know if this has a magnet on it. I don't think it is. Get this one in first. That's, if there's one that's likely to get lost, that's the one. So get that one in first, and then get these rear guys reseated, not cross-threaded like I just did. This one's fixed. All right, now this guy. Got a little cap there. One on this side. Wonder if I'm gonna make it before my phone runs out of storage. I'm almost out. All right, reconnect the light switches. The light switches, the window switches, guys. Done. And we are back in action. The car is now back. So now I just gotta take it for a drive. But hopefully that helped, especially with these guys. fixed. Yeah. See you guys later. So this will be the last clip. I am driving the car. There's virtually no slop in it. Shifting is super nice again. I like it. It's gonna probably feel even better once I change the gearbox fluids. So look at that. When it's in gear, no slop. It's great.